Hello, it is Foundation Friday, January 3rd, 2019. Steve Sipress here, and I stand in front, as I often do in my videos, of one of my groups of bookshelves, of which I have many. And nowadays, I have many more books that I have given away in the physical form, but I've reacquired them onto my iPad. But I do have many books here and many more in boxes and in my garage, in my office, my iPad. So first, I'm going to suggest that you make it a goal for this year to read one book a week, or an average of a book a week. I've read an average of a book a week for I don't know how many years and years and years and decades. Probably going back about 30 years. And so that's what I suggest to you. Now you can do that by reading a book in a few days, taking a few days off, then starting another one, take a couple of weeks off, and then read two books back to back. You can read books of nonfiction, fiction. I recommend a mix. Once in a while I'll just be sitting out by my pool and want to turn my brain off from the business, advertising, marketing world, leadership world, of which most of these books are on these shelves, and just read some kind of novel for a few days or a week or so, just to keep my mind off of, to relax and unwind, take my mind off of business. But I'm going to share on Foundation Friday a series of lessons from some of my favorite books. So I'm going to start with this one. It says, from the legend himself, J. Paul Getty's How to Be Rich. And maybe you can see the tattered and worn copy of this book, and have it underlined and starred and highlighted throughout the book. I don't know if you can see it with one hand. It's tough to see, but many pages full of highlights and so forth, and markings. And I've read this over and over and over, and I love the fact that the book is not just how to get rich, but how to be rich. So I'm going to share some lessons here, and we'll see how long the series goes on for, but I'll start with the preface from J. Paul Getty, where he says, richness is at least as much a matter of character, of philosophy, outlook, and attitude as it is of money. The millionaire mentality, that he puts in quotes, and he writes a whole chapter on it later, is not, and in this day and age, of course this book written in the 60s while he was still living, and actually was a series of articles first published, actually in Playboy magazine, which he chose because it was, as he said, read by many young executives and college students that he wanted to get his message to. And back then it was a whole different world, of course, a male chauvinist world where it was businessmen, and not seen as it is today, that there are businessmen and women. Anyway, so when he says in this day and age, I believe the teaching in this book is timeless. The millionaire mentality is not and cannot be merely an accumulative mentality. The able, ambitious man, and I'll add in man or woman, who strives for success must understand that the term rich has infinite shadings of meaning in order to justify him or herself and his or her wealth. He or she must know how to be rich in virtually every positive sense of the term. So it's how to be rich, not just how to make money and how to get rich, because selling stuff and making money is easy, but being rich in the sense of the word, and the character, thoughtfulness, helping others, as Getty writes, and I will share with you, is a whole different story. So he says at the end of the preface, I am firmly convinced that the future of American business, of the American people, and indeed of the entire free world lies in the perpetuation of a progressive, far-sighted, free enterprise system guided by progressive, far-sighted businessmen who will reap the rewards from improving the living standards of all. If by writing this book I've passed this message on, even if only to a receptive few, then I shall have achieved my purpose and received a very rich reward in the form of personal gratification from the thought that I have in some small measure helped spread and strengthen the principles in which I believe. And I'll be sharing those principles from J. Paul Getty, at the time the richest man in the world, with you in the coming weeks in this series on how to be rich on Foundation Friday. So that'll do it for today. Might want to pick up a copy of the book and kind of follow along with me, or let me know your thoughts. What you think of the book, good, bad, indifferent. Maybe point out your favorite principles and teachings of Getty in the book. I'll be sharing mine throughout the coming. I see some of the asterisks and underlines now throughout the pages as I see them there. I'll be sharing those in the coming weeks, so enjoy your weekend. I'll be back tomorrow on not World Wide Web Wednesday. That was 2 days ago. Tomorrow will be Social Media Saturday. I'll catch you then with some social media tips, some trends for 2020 I will be discussing tomorrow. Catch you then.